This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And if you're looking forward to Reunion 2011, that's right, it's coming up December. You're probably going to want to book your trip pretty soon. And why not book with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel? Besides, you're going to get a great rate. You're going to get great customer service. But by booking with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, you're also going to get the opportunity to book into the hard ticket events that will be coming up for Reunion first before anybody else. That's right, 24 hours advance notice before anybody else to book into those hard ticket events just by booking with MEI and Mousefan Travel. Check them out online right now at mousefantravel.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Wednesday, June 15th, 2011, and it's episode 890 of WDW Today.
Wow.
I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, it probably goes without saying, being it's already June in Florida, but my God, man, it is hot in here, Florida.
We had 98 degrees last Wednesday, and then yesterday I had to go buy a sweatshirt because it was cold. So I don't know what's. You got your problems down there. We got our problems up here.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I can't even. I would kill for one day of just like
It
a high
was
of
brisk.
65.
It was 55 today where I was
Wow.
in middle of June.
Oof. Well, that must mean it was snowing by Mike Scopa, who's a senior feature writer and blogger for AllEars.net. Welcome, Mike.
It was 55. I had to turn the heat on last night. But I have this for a opening, and it's just 2 words. Are you ready?
2 words. Here we go. This could be anything.
Okay, Triple H, go ahead.
Sea Castle.
Horizon.
See?
So
There it is.
shiny and new.
When it comes to
Super fan.
you've got to keep it really short for Newell to really test him.
Sea Castle, the newest. I could do the whole thing.
The newest and most exciting floating city.
Yes,
Blah, blah.
yes, that's it. Can we do a whole show on Horizon?
He's not a beach boy.
He is not a beach
Exciting
boy.
floating city in the Pacific invites you and your family to come away with us to the sea. Convenient daily departures by Sea Train and Skylift.
Hey, Mom,
Nostalgia
Mom.
for Mr. Newell.
What is it, Tommy? Look, Mom, I'm flying. Why don't you try?
What if I float away?
Wah, wah.
Also joining us on today's show is Henry Work, a developer for touringplans.com. Welcome back to the show, Henry.
Thank you, Hatchberg. It's a pleasure.
We like to use the term Matty Cakes.
Sorry, Matty Cakes.
That's better.
It's a pleasure.
And it's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. Let's start things out with an email from
Dear
Katie from
Matt.
East Windsor, New Jersey. Here you go. Hi, Matt, Mike, Len, Annette, and insert Henry, AJ, Fred, or any other special guest here.
What?
She
Right,
knew.
Henry, you're starting to make the emails.
Nice.
Oh, time to quit, Henry, and go on your own. I'll let Justin Timberlake and leave your NSYNC pals behind. My husband and I are longtime listeners and longtime fans of the dining plan. We got it on our first trip, and when they still included appetizers. We got it on our honeymoon when they were kicked off, and we had to pay tip, and we did the math, and it was still a good deal then. We're looking at going in 2012, and we're done with it. You've convinced us. We loved it for the convenience and having it paid up front, but the price has gotten just too much. Plus, we want to try the 2-credit restaurants, but 2 credits isn't worth any of them. So next time we go, we're going to do something Matt suggested and getting a prepaid Visa card loaded up with the money on it for our meals. Then we already have paid for everything up front, but we aren't locked into certain meals or skipping Chico. The one thing I will say you're wrong about is it being too much food. For a family of 4, yes it is. But for a couple that's going to Disney partially for food, we want to sit down at least once a day to a nice meal. I'm glad, Katie, you've seen the light, so to speak. But when we say too much food, I didn't mean there's too many meals. I meant there's too much food in each meal. Like a great example is the counter service option, where you get an entree, a dessert, and a drink. And my thing is, I hardly ever get a dessert at a counter service, and most people I know never get the dessert either. So from that standpoint, there's always been too much food in that regard, more so than perhaps there's too many options in the day for food. But But
I never eat desserts. Like, I mean, I'll max have once a day. Twice a day is just overkill for me, at least.
yeah. But I'm glad I think the Visa card, the prepaid credit card idea works a lot better. It's a lot more flexible. If you decide one day, you know what, we don't have time, or we really don't want to sit down for a sit down today, no problem. You're not wasting any money. At the end of the trip, if you have $100 left over, it's $100 you've got to spend on somewhere else now. Next email is from Cassidy. I'm so excited to be 21 at Walt Disney World this October. Perfect time for Food and Wine Festival. I was really glad that y'all put on the episode about the bars because I would like to experience some of the drinks they have to offer. After listening to Len talk about the bars, I was wondering if it's possible to order a drink from, say, Top of the World Lounge while one dines at the California Grill. Does it work like that, or are the drinks exclusive to the bars and lounges? P.S. I know you all make fun of my y'alls, but that's okay. Y'all.
Y'all.
Usually the way it works, and Henry, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, like the bar that's at California Grill handles the alcohol service for the California Grill.
Right. Yeah. I don't think you can ever pull that off. It'd be amazing if you did. Also, just because the physical distance doesn't really make it practical.
Oh, Top of the. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong one. Yeah, no. Top of the World's at Bay Lake
tell me if I'm
Tower.
wrong. Yeah, I think Top of the World is in Bay Lake Tower, and California Grill is in the main building at the Contemporary. So
Yes, sorry,
I really don't think you can order a drink over there. I mean, sometimes though you can ask, and I've had friends who've done this, to ask them to make drinks that aren't on their menu. Obviously, just like standard bar drinks, but sometimes I've heard like you can order drinks that used to be on their menu. Can you still make X? And they might be able to make X. So if there's some drink that you thought of that was brilliant, 3 or 4 years ago when you went on your trip, ask them. It can always happen.
Yeah, I know that Newell. We've had luck with that at the Bellevue Lounge at the Boardwalk. Of course, the most famous scenario being your BBC. Mm-hmm. And that's not on the menu. It was never on the menu, in fact.
No.
If you know what it is, and if they don't know what it is, as long as you know like what it is and like kind of like the like one part this or two parts this, they'll make it. Assuming they have the ingredients, they'll make it for you.
They'll definitely try
at the Bellevue Lounge, you just ask for the Newell and they make it for you.
Next email is from Jono, who's also known as Jaco Direwolf on the boards. So I've heard people ask this before. Annual passes just end up regular ticket media. Well, it turns out if you get your annual pass from the concierge at a resort, they will print them out on your room keys, which I have to say, having done this, is just plain awesome. Since it's on room media, everyone at the resorts thinks it's a room key, and they let me through the gates at the resort, and it worked for extra magic hour evenings.
What?
Henry,
I've never heard of that.
I have never heard of that either, Matty Cakes.
That's wild.
Thanks, Mike. That's crazy. Henry, we've got to go try this immediately. That's it. To the nearest concierge lounge.
That's a good question.
Post taste. We can just cut off the episode right now, right?
All you hear is...
That is a great tip. If
I'm
anyone else that can back that up, please let us know.
Yeah, someone try that out. Next time, whoever's, if you've got an annual pass to redeem, go try that out at the...
But wait a minute. Doesn't the... wouldn't that room key have a expiration date? Like...
Yeah, it says guest...
I mean, so if you're staying at the Polynesian, and would it also have your expiration date? So,
Would the expiration date be 365 days from now?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You're staying at the beach club for a long time.
Next email is from Jeff Pickering of Columbus, Ohio. Recently stayed at the Polynesian for a week last month and was wondering, do you know or if Wi-Fi will be available at the resorts and the parks? Their current system seems expensive and outdated. That being said, I sometimes wonder if this was intentional to encourage guests to leave their gadgets behind and enjoy their vacation without them. I mean, would you really want a bunch of people with laptops hanging around the Grand Ceremonial House? Your thoughts? Oh, before you answer that, P.S. also wanted to give a shout out to Henry and Len. Thanks for the helpful email responses recently.
Sweet.
Personal service.
2 emails. I've always thought about the whole situation with internet and Disney World, and the fact that you're paying $9.95, and you can go down to like the Days Inn down the street and get it for free. I've always felt like at the more expensive the hotel, the better the hotel, I should say, the more likely internet will cost extra because internet is used in the lower end hotels as a perk to get people to stay there. Mm-hmm. and there's something, it might be a part of the business area. I'm not sure. I mean, what Henry, what's your take on this? This is a good beta mouse question.
I think, it's crazy that they still don't have Wi-Fi. It must be some kind of bureaucracy thing, some corporate decision. I really don't think it's like a deliberate decision. I don't think it's like we can't give you Wi-Fi because we want you to go spend money at the theme parks. That just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, at least they all have hardline internet now. But there are some trial balloons. I know that Blizzard Beach has a free Wi-Fi thing, and we've heard lots of rumors because we cover this stuff on Betamax. Sorry, shameless plug. And there's currently you can get free Wi-Fi at Blizzard Beach in a bunch of places.
And that's smart. Bring your laptop to a water park. That's
exactly.
That makes
I don't
sense.
see why that makes sense. Yeah. Temporary now has Wi-Fi, and there's also Wi-Fi at a bunch of the DVC resorts. Am I right there, Newell?
But it depends on which one.
I've heard that like certain places like the Wi-Fi or the internet is free on points, and and there's also Wi-Fi at certain deluxe lobbies. I know that.
Let's face it. Does the company want to go through the expense of covering property with Wi-Fi for a really low percentage of people who are going to use it? I mean, those who really need it or really would use it would buy a MiFi, or they would have their phone tethered to their laptops. Those people are the ones that are really going to go out of their way to get a signal. So
I don't know, but I feel like it's something that they could charge for, and it's something that they could just get a bunch of. I mean, more and more people are connected to the internet. It's not just some
right, but
it's not just crazy people who do it while they're traveling
at the hotels, but not so much at the parks. I mean, would you spend millions of dollars to cover a lot of property which is uninhabited? It doesn't make sense.
I would immediately. I mean, if you think about the theme parks, they already have really extensive Wi-Fi networks.
For in a corporate,
handle the capacity of the entire park, not just the cast members.
Right.
But they clearly have extensive knowledge and a huge deployment, a huge Wi-Fi mesh network and deployment already for the cast members because they need ubiquitous internet access. I think the time is going to come not only to support things like next gen that they're going to do internally, right? But also, support the third-party developers that are building Disney apps. More and more people are downloading Disney apps on the iPhone and Android and going to the theme parks and expecting to use them, and they get bad Wi-Fi signal. So
why can't you use your 3G service or your cell service for that?
Oh, you can.
Right.
It's just,
that's what I'm saying.
If they provided Wi-Fi, we would get just the developers who are building Disney apps out there, like myself, would just have so much more room to play with.
Yeah, I mean, 3G is
cool things.
Well, 3G is. The thing I was going to say is that 3G is not nearly as fast as traditional Wi-Fi. I mean, a hardwired connection over Wi-Fi. And then, of course, you have reception issues. I mean, I know that we've all dealt with them at various hotels where the walls seem to be made out of, lead because you can't get a signal. You can't get a signal, let alone something good enough for internet service.
Yeah, Pop's no bargain either for that. But
yeah. I mean, that's my biggest issue, not so much to the fact. If we were like, all things being equal, I could see your point, Newell.
But I still think it's a small percentage of people. I don't see them spending that kind of money in infrastructure for a small percentage of people who are going to use it sporadically.
Well, here's why, Newell, is that media sharing is exploding around the world. More people get smartphones, and more people are sending photos, videos, everything to their friends and family. Purely from a marketing standpoint, if you allowed people to have free Wi-Fi access throughout the Disney theme parks, the amount of media being shared from the parks on a daily basis would explode. All that fun, happy, video stuff of the fireworks, et cetera, et cetera. Just like sit on Main Street during Wishes, see how many people are holding up their phones, are holding up their cameras, taking photos and trying to share and collect that sort of memories for later. If you imagine that all those things are instead of just being held in people's hard drives in the future, but are constantly being sent out to the internet and to friends and family, that drives home the Disney message in a real-time way that I don't think you can pay for.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but why can't I do that now on my phone?
Oh, you can. You just I don't tweet or send video from the parks because the internet is so slow, especially anyone who's on AT&T.
Well, that's my point. Be specific. I mean, I have no problem. I get 4G coverage on my Verizon phone anywhere in the parks. I have no problems with speed.
Okay.
Another thing is they would never make it free. Disney would never give away something like that for free. There'd be some
I think
cost
they would
involved.
if it was tied to the next gen stuff, because they're spending over like $1 billion on this like new technology. If that was coupled with a very, that they essentially gave phones away or they had apps for your existing phones, I think that would have to be complemented with Wi-Fi.
And Disney's traditionally so slow when it comes to this.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The guy is probably like, I just wanted a yes or no.
Well, we could do a whole show on this at some point.
Absolutely. Next email is from Bruce from Vermilion, South Dakota. 2 questions. First and foremost, I'm considering taking my family of 4 down in Walt Disney World either the first week of May or the first week of December. Let's say 2014 for the purposes of this podcast. I'm curious what you think the positives and negatives of each time period would be. In either case, we'll be staying off property. While getting away from South Dakota during the cold month is a bonus, let's be honest, we've had snow in May as well. It's been a long time since my wife and I have been down there, 13 years now. My kids have never been to Disney World. We have flexible school and work schedules, so my goal is to go when attendance is light and the weather is nice, which is anything above freezing. I'd appreciate hearing your thoughts. All right, Scopa. First week of May or first week of December?
Wow.
And they want the least amount of crowds and nice weather.
Well, first week in May may be an issue with crowds, may not be an issue with weather. The first week in December may be an issue with weather, but may not be an issue with crowds.
Yeah.
I think that since they have not been there in 13 years, I think that I would go with the May week because I think that you might find possibility of longer park hours. I think that there's more for them to see and do in May than in December. Of course, we're not talking about the holiday things. I think that the weather is conducive to more outside activities. I think they would enjoy it more. There's no guarantee in December that you're going to have good weather. I mean, I've been down there in shorts in December and been down there in sweatshirts, so you never know. So my take would be May. First week in May, and Henry would be able to verify this or validate or not. I don't think that the crowds would be as bad as it would be from the middle of May on. So I'd go with the first week of May.
Yeah, you can squeak by in the early May. There's a 3, but the crowd levels are like 5s and 6s, and the peak is a 7 for 2012. December will definitely have, at least this year, lower crowds. There'll be 3 1s in the first week, and then the max would be sort of a 4. So you might have lower crowds in December. I think it's just the weather seems to be so oscillating. I mean, last year for Reunion, I remember it being quite cold. At least I think that was last year. It could have been the year before, and that was in early December. But this year in mid-May, it was pretty scorching. So, but then again, I don't know, Matt. What do you think in terms of weather?
I think Scopa nailed. I would, if he's especially warm weather seems like an important thing. I would go for May because December is so hit or miss with that. I mean, you can get great weather and then you can get you need to wear sweaters the entire time. It's not like it's going to be snowing, but
we froze one year and at the Illuminations in Reunion one year. It was so cold.
Yeah, so I would go for May. Next email is. Bruce also wants in a second. I wear glasses and I'm blind as a bat without them. I've seen to recall that the last time I went to Disney World and I wore glasses without any problems on roller coasters, but that was before the days of Rock and Roller Coaster. Do I need to geek out and get one of those stretchy straps to attach to my glasses to make sure they stay in place, or will I be fine without it?
It's worth it. A couple bucks at CVS. Yeah, it's worth
I've never had I wear contacts now, but I mean, back in the day, even when I wore glasses, I didn't have an issue. I mean, I haven't heard of anyone. I shouldn't say I haven't heard of anyone. I'm mostly sunglasses, but I mean, none of us here really wear glasses at the parks these days.
Yeah, but he's blind, so I mean, if glasses are that important, yeah, I would get one of those stretchy things from CVS or Duane Reade or one of those stores, and just to save it, make it a lot easier on yourself.
Or unless he closes his eyes, I think just put them away. You may not need them.
I was gonna say you can get those, put his glasses away, and then use instead one of those opera glasses that have a handle, and that way he can look through them and see everything.
Or just get a monocle and, you know.
That's right. It's attached to the hip otherwise.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Next email of the day is from Megan Kransky of East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Hey, that's nearby. Home of the Jets. Thank you.
I'm heading down to the Disney World in November 14th through 19th. I haven't been to Disney in November, but just January, and got to see the Osborne family lights at the studios. However, I've never seen the castle lit up in lights before. Can one see the castle lights without having to go to the Christmas party? What time do they usually light up the castle?
What week of November?
November 14th to the 19th.
Are they on by then?
So.
I think so. But even if assuming they are, yes, you can see the lights before Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Usually, they light the castle up 6 o'clock ish, and then the party's at 7.
Right.
So, and I know we've seen that before, both as a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party guest and just a regular guest, heading out beforehand. So.
Yeah, on a non-party night.
Right. Next email is from Michelle of Springfield, Illinois. We're annual visitors to Walt Disney World and are planning a next trip to Disney's Vero Beach Resort prior to our trip to Disney World. We're planning on spending a combined 8 nights for the parks and Vero Beach. We're a family of 4 with 2 young boys, ages 4 and 7. When we visit Walt Disney World, we all spend a day at the parks from park opening to park closing with no naps or breaks, despite what the fabulous Len suggests for families with young kids. We enjoy jumping from attraction to attraction when we're at the parks and find it hard to sit back and relax. One day without an itinerary at Vero Beach to enjoy the beach and pools would be great, but would it be too much if there weren't other scheduled resort activities? What other activities are there to do at Disney's Vero Beach? How many nights would you spend at Vero Beach, and how many would you spend at Disney World? Do you recommend any of the restaurants there? They do have activities there. I'm not sure it would be something like to the effect that would be like that would dictate your schedule, kind of like a cruise line itinerary. I think there's just like things to do that are going on.
Right, like maybe
Bingo at the pool.
Yeah, stuff like that, but nothing.
Shuffleboard.
I mean, how many days to spend there? It's totally up to. I mean, how many days it's the beach. How many days would you want to spend at the beach? I mean,
yeah, I find 2 nights at Vero Beach is enough for me. After that, I get a little bored. But it depends on the person.
More importantly, would you do Vero Beach first, or would you do the world first?
That depends on the person too. I like to relax after a trip to Disney. So for me, the last two nights of vacation at Vero is more appealing to me. But some people prefer to do the cruise before Walt Disney World and vice versa. It all depends on, I guess, the person. Me, I like to unwind after a hectic trip.
Mike, did you sample any of the restaurants they have at Vero?
I did. I just don't remember what they're called. They were both very good. I had no complaints whatsoever. In fact, I never left property. Once I got there, we stayed. We never left, so we dined all the time on Disney property, and the food there was fine.
Nice. Our next email, which is from... Who's our next email? Oh, it's from Jason from Lansing, Michigan. I've been listening to the show for a while now and think you all do a great job. We're planning a trip in late January for me, my wife, her parents, my mom, and my brother, and his girlfriend. We're Disney veterans, but the rest of the group varies in experience, including first-timers. The other big addition to this trip is that this will be our son's first trip as well. We'll be celebrating his first birthday on this trip. We'll be staying at the Beach Club Villas. I was wondering how you would approach planning your days with such a diverse and large group. We're thinking of trying to stay together for a couple of hours most mornings, then splitting up and do whatever anyone else wants to do, and then meeting back for dinner.
Exactly. That's how we always do it. You split up. But basically, what I'll do is I had a group of 27 that were with us one time, and what we did was we did sort of like what MouseFest does. Tuesday is Epcot Day. We'll meet, early in the morning, blah blah blah, and then everybody go off on their own thing, and then we'd find, we would have an ADR set for dinner for that many people. So, yeah, it just that for your own sanity, you want to split up for a little while. And it doesn't hurt, now with phones, you could text up and say, hey, we're over here, you want to ride Mission Space real quick or whatever. And then for sanity, I suggest breaking up and then coming back later on in the evening to discuss your day.
Yeah, I like it, Mike. I think it makes a lot of sense to keep it like that. And, I mean, obviously, if there's a day like where everyone's like, hey, we all want to do the same thing and spend time together, that's great. But don't plan it that way because inevitably you've got a lot of different wants and needs going around, and it may just end up creating chaos and a lot of resentment and anger. So it's best to just, have like dinner together and maybe even breakfast and, just a couple things planned, but otherwise let people go in their own direction and and see how it goes from there. Next email is from Greg Durham of Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Greg?
As a good question for Henry. After recently going to see Toy Story 3 in 3D, a thought occurred to me. Would the Real D 3D glasses that I get at the film work on any of the rides at Walt Disney World? For example, would they work on Toy Story Midway Mania? They are far more comfortable and less dorky than the glasses given out at the parks.
I have no idea.
I don't know what kind of 3D
I have no idea how
they
the
use.
technology works. Yeah, no. I like to pretend like I know something about technology. I really don't know.
There's 3D and there's 3D. I think that we've all. I mean, I've seen. I saw Tangled in 3D on the Wonder, and I wasn't really impressed with it. And I've seen I think I saw Toy Story 3 in the theater, an IMAX theater 3D, and it was a little bit better. So I'm guessing that the technology is a little bit different. I mean, it's sort of the same, but there are little tweaks that maybe make one 3D effort have better results than another. So I'm not sure if the glasses are the same. I don't know if the technology is always the same. So I'm with Henry. I don't know if you can really answer that question.
There's only one way to find out.
Should always try.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring it on.
Yeah, Henry, while you're checking out the concierge annual pass thing, grab steal some 3D glasses from your local theater.
And then report from jail from us to see how things are going.
Nice. Next email is from John Manasco. Hey there, gang. Just catching up on a few older episodes. While listening to your episode 700 and enjoying it, I heard someone ask about one of the subs from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, joking about it being on mousesurplus.com. Well, at the moment, I remember this photo I snapped back at Epcot this past March while taking the tour during our wedding planning session. Figured I'd share with you guys. The moment I saw it, it brought a smile to my face, and as the path was on a bit. Keep up the good work, guys. Here's a link. I sent you guys a link in the little chat room. We can take a look at the photo he's mentioning. It's pretty cool. It's actually, since this is a visual bit for a audio-only show, it's a backstage behind, looks like the Land Pavilion, and there appears to be a Jungle Cruise boat.
Oh, yeah.
And the top of one of the submarines from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's just the top part. It's not like the actual submarine part. That's pretty cool that it's just hanging out over there. And something from Mexico? I'm not sure what that... There's something else over there that we can't quite tell.
That's pretty cool.
Seems to be like the place things go to die. Like, I don't know if you've seen this.
Hey, don't say that about Nelson.
Hey.
Scopa, have you ever run a race? I remember I did the Princess Royal Family 5K, and we got taken through backstage, sort of around the Test Track Mexico area, and we came out through there. And on the way there, I saw a really old, rotting backlot tour boat vehicle. It's huge.
I went back there last October. I was back there. It was all around World Showcase. Actually, just before. Was it October? Oh no, it was in February. So all the wine and dine kiosks were back there, and I saw stuff like that back there, and it seemed out of place. And I was trying to figure out why it was there. What type of why would they bring it all the way to this theme park? I mean, is it because there's so much land back there? Do they have something in mind for it? In a previous podcast, Matt mentioned how on the Here Come the Muppets attraction, they still use that vehicle to bring the
Ariel.
mermaid out. Yeah, Ariel out. So I think that they do a lot of recycling.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. There's that glass. I call it the glass slipper float in the Magic Kingdom. That thing's been around since 1975. I remember going to a parade and I have video from not video, but I have photos from 1975 used with that same float. At least I think it is. So I think there's a lot of recycling going on.
In Disney speak, it's called repurposing.
Is it really?
Yeah, repurposing. We're going to repurpose something.
That's funny.
All right, it's time for our last question of the day, and that means I'll give Mr. Newell 3 emails to some. One gets read today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. We promise.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Newell, you ready for your emails?
You make sure you promise, because I'm not going to get blamed for anything that you promise.
Well, we answer them all except for emails from Mindy. We delete those.
And Steve Medina, but
And Steve. Oh well, yeah. There's a rule in that for Outlook. If Medina, then delete.
I think we have that in a legal document somewhere. So
your options, Mike, are: what shall we do with that wretched corner?
Wow.
Am I your only Vermont listener?
What?
And a memorable Mary Jo Collins magical moment with Mike and Marvin.
I got to know what this corner thing is.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll hear from Mary Jo tomorrow about it. But
That's all right, Mary Jo. He didn't want to answer your question. Actually, it's from Stuart Sternberg, but
I've answered enough. I've answered not enough. A lot of Mary Jo Collins questions. So let's give other people a chance, Mojo.
From Lenore City, as she calls it, even though it's Lenoir, but never mind.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last email of the day is from Luke Hefner of Rome City, Indiana. Recently listening to Podluck 3, and you talked about Dinoland. While I've always thought the whole theme of cheesy carnival was iffy, I've always tolerated seeing how much my younger sibling appreciates it in a park that doesn't have a ton of attractions aimed at kids. That being said, I have 2 scenarios for you. 1, you have to revamp the Dinoland area and keep the dino theme. Would you do the re-theme, and what attractions would you add? Or 2, let's say you completely wiped out the area and started over. What would you put in there? And no, you can't use Beastly Kingdom. I don't know. I'll throw this to Scopa. Mike, what do you think about this?
Why can't we use Beastly Kingdom?
I think maybe too obvious. I think is what he's. Yeah, too easy. He wants you to think about this.
Okay, I think that because that is in part of the park that talks about that is part of the dinosaur. I think maybe a dark ride would be nice that takes us through evolution. That maybe talks about dinosaurs and talks about animals that have come and gone. I think that I think it would be a very good, entertaining and educational attraction for children. I mean, you talk about animals. I think the dodo bird is one that comes to mind. Animals that are sort of extinct. It's almost like that Living with the Land thing that's over at the Land Pavilion. I think that it would be worthwhile to have something like that where you talk about animals that have come and gone and also animals that are in danger and things like that. So that's what I would do at that part of the park, because it's talking about things of the past. It's Dino Land. It's the dinosaur over there. You get the boneyard. So I would do that.
What about you, Henry? And you weren't on the episode where we talked about that, but if you had to do something with the much maligned Dinoland USA in Disney's Animal Kingdom, how would you what would you do? Would you just kind of like tweak the area a little bit, or do you get the bulldozer? And if so, if you're getting the bulldozer, what do you replace it with?
So I kind of like Dinoland. Disney Sean Slater kind of turned me around on it. The next time you go check out Restaurantosaurus, read Disney Sean's like Dinoland section, then go check out some of the details in Restaurantosaurus and Chester and Hester. They're kind of cool. I mean, it is tacky, but like it's kind of fun tacky if you're in the right mood. So what I would say is probably I'll just go crazy. I'll say bulldoze it. And what you could replace it with is sort of the other big rumor that's always sort of been in Animal Kingdom, which would be Australia. I think the big rumors point to it to be somehow like between Africa and Asia. But I think it could work there, especially because you've got the Finding Nemo musical right there, which is, set near Australia, and then parts of it are in Australia. So you could sort of lean heavily on that franchise, which is still ridiculously popular. And then, like Animal Kingdom, the really big thing it's missing is water. Water, lots of water. So see if you can top SeaWorld with some crazy water stuff.
Interesting theory. I like it. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I want to remind all our listeners that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel is a fee-free agency. What does that mean? Well, you're going to get lots of great service, and that's going to be personalized just for you. But the best part about it is that it does not cost you a thing. That's right. Disney pays them, not you. So their talents and their services are offered to you for free. And that way you get all the great service and a great deal on your next vacation Disney World. Check them out online at mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Henry Work, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show.
So you want to know what I think?
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.